Of the FF1M Championship, coming to you from the Spanish circuit in Jerez, just in the south of Spain. Here is an overhead view of the track. It's quite a compact little circuit. It's a very good arena bit. It's like an arena for the fans, and it's full of fast corners as well. I mean, there's the corner leading onto the back straight, which is frighteningly quick, and then there's the series of two twin left-handers as well. And then there's the chicane near the end of the lap. It gets quite twisty at the final section. But overall, a fun circuit to drive on. In Q1, AJ looking very comfortable with Alonso topping the sheets. Making it into a race for the first time in their career is Autodynamics. Not through the skin of the teeth. They were 4 points ahead of Andy Racing, who failed to make it through for the first time in a while, probably since the 2006 days of Adam Carroll and Christian Albers. Once again, Shannon failed to make it through, so it's a starting grid. It's Nico Rosberg taking pole position for Dark Wolf. Wouldn't have thought that, considering they failed to qualify at the start of the season. Button second, ahead of Raikkonen third, so both Tornadoes looking strong, as well as both Shake and Bakes, fourth and fifth. Fantastic effort from Liuzzi to get up to 6th place, albeit on the super soft tyres. Massa in 8th place for FJR, a long way ahead of Robert Kubica as well, 15th. Pedersen seems to be struggling a little bit. Kobayashi, having impressed early in the season, down in 20th place. Guy Racing have replaced Lucas Di Grassi with Anthony Davidson, and it doesn't seem to have done much difference. He's down in 21st place. So, 5 lights on, 69 laps of Jerez, 5 lights are out! And it's a pretty evenly matched start, but Button's got a flyer. Shake and Bakes have had a good start as well. Glock moving up to 2nd place ahead of Rosberg. So, not a great start from Nico. Meanwhile, at the back, Nick Heidfeld in 22nd place. And making a move was a GRM. That was... looked like both... well, they were both together on the grid, so one of them had an awful start. But it's Jensen leading from Timo Glock. Rosberg third. Hamilton making a move on Rosberg into the dry sack hairpin. Better be careful behind Raikkonen. Well, he's had a poor start. He's dropped a couple of positions. Massa 6th, having started in 8th, so a good start from him. Giorgio Pantano's had a cracking start. He's moved up 2 positions, but still a good start for the Dodgem driver. Into this tight chicane. It's just single file through there. Rosberg, 3rd place, beginning to hold up Hamilton. He's on the soft tyres. Every driver is expected to do 3 stops. So it's the end of lap 1. Button leads from Glock, Rosberg, Hamilton. Button, unsurprisingly, the fastest man on the track. Changes as well from the previous race in Imola is that FJR have taken Kurz off the car after some horrendous reliability. So they're hoping for improved reliability at the expense of a little bit of performance loss. Now around this long right-hander, Hamilton needs a good run out of here. Seems to have got it, he's in the slipstream. Rosberg defending a little bit. No, he's not. He's having to be patient. It's quite bumpy. And the fast left-hander, and then the next one. Rosberg adjusting his line a little bit. He obviously knows Hamilton's there. He's just trying to hang on as much as he can. It's quickly becoming a four-way battle as well. Massa's joining in on the action, even without Kurz. But it is Button who's the fastest man on the track. He is pulling away from Glock. At the inside into turn 1 goes Hamilton. That was a late braking manoeuvre, and up to third goes Lewis, the current championship leader. So can he close the gap to his own teammate and to the Tornado that's in the lead? Inside of Liuzzi goes Bourdais up to 8th place. So I can reveal that it was Barrichello that had an awful start, because Sebastian Bourdais is up to 8th place in the points. Here's another Sebastian. It's Vettel and Klein just getting squeezed. Robert Kubica finding a gap that didn't seem there. Rosberg under pressure from Raikkonen now. At the final corner they go. Raikkonen's in the slipstream. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? No, Rosberg's defending it. And Glock dropping back, and off out of the race goes Barrichello. He's pulling off. Well, there's an open gate, but there's also a mountain, so he can't exactly park in there. But the first retiree is the Brazilian. Lap 5, Button in the lead. Look, in the fast left-hander. And he's slowing down. Jenson Button slowing down. The Imola race winner is out of the race and he's pulling off. So that's disappointment for Tornado, who are running the Kurz. So, not surprisingly, reliability proving a bit problematic. So the Shake and Bake's moving to the lead. At the inside of Rosberg goes Raikkonen. So, as one Tornado meets its demise, the other one moves up into a podium position. And that's an early pit stop for Bourdais. Electrical problem. Nothing but a quick change of tyres will solve that, no problem. Here's Buemi looking at the AJ. Alonso showed some cracking pace in first qualifying, but can only manage it 10th place in Q2. In turn 3, then turn 4. Buemi closing in on the AJ. I believe it is Alonso. Up the inside. But the AJ of Alonso shutting the door, but Buemi having none of it. Through to 9th goes Buemi. Right behind Alonso is Kubica. The curseless Robert Kubica. Now then, into the final corner. We've got a Dodgem and a Guy Racing battling each other. Nice clean racing. Vettel moving up to 9th. No, that's 6th place, sorry. Past Pantano. The Dodgem not giving up though. Vettel thinking about shutting the door. Into turn 1, turns in just ahead of him. A few centimetres behind, and Pantano fighting back. Vettel leaving space, but he's got him now. Lap 11, Timo Glock leads from Lewis Hamilton. We're looking at Klein, who's pulling off the track with a reliability problem. But it's Glock leading by 1.9 seconds from Hamilton. Raikkonen having a very good race. He's only 4.4 seconds behind both Shake and Bakes. That was a bizarre line there from the aerodynamics. Where's he going? He's just spun off completely. That's Mark Webber. So that's done him no good at all. His teammate, meanwhile, still hanging on to the points quite grimly. Lap 12, and he has lost 32 seconds overall. But remember, the aerodynamics isn't a great car. He is on the super softs as well, so you can expect him to drop back quite heavily during the race. Raikkonen, meanwhile, closing the gap. Now down to 3.9 seconds, and a blown engine for Giorgio Pantano in 7th place. So we're only 12 laps in, and he's ripped a wheel off as well. That's run right over the track. Be careful, guys. It looks to be safe. It's rolling towards the edge of the track. Kubica in 9th place, challenging Liuzzi. Even without curves, it's still a good straight line speed. To the dry sack curve, that'll be turn 6. Glock approaching traffic already, that's a Dodgem. It's the other Dodgem of Heidfeld. And Heidfeld blocking him completely. Is Hamilton going to get the run up? He's right behind him. And Heidfeld lets him through. But Hamilton making a pit stop. This is an early stop. We're only approaching the 15th lap. So essentially it was a good in-lap for Hamilton. Albeit helped by the fact that Heidfeld wasn't using his rear view mirrors on his German counterpart Glock. Let's see how long this pit stop will be. Nearly in the teens, it's 12.3 seconds. Vettel pits from 6th place. He's had a good race so far. Qualified in 7th, which was excellent in key racing standards because they usually qualify quite down the order and then race well. 12-second pit stop for Sebastian, the former world champion. Rejoining in 9th place behind Liuzzi. Meanwhile, Glock battles on. Adrian Zaug for Pedersen pits, the South African driver. So taking the lead is Raikkonen, so not only was he closing in, he had more fuel than both Schakenbergs. This is looking good for Kimi Raikkonen. Into his pit box goes Glock. Wish we could see him, but there's a big building in the way and a big Tag Heuer sign. There we go, on board with Glock. He sits in the car very calmly. As the mechanic go to work. 10.3 seconds, that's 2 seconds quicker than his own teammate. So Glock going for a shorter middle stint, or second stint rather, because they'll be on the 3-stop strategy. There's Hamilton, he's taken the lead! So despite that quicker stop from Glock, Hamilton rejoins in front of him. The new tyres have worked out well. They rejoin second and third as well. It's an incredibly short pit lane, so 3 stops is definitely a good strategy to go for, as the pit lane is so short. Glock right behind Hamilton, going into the dry sack curve. This is effectively for the lead, as Raikkonen has yet to pit. The inside, Hamilton leaves in space, but Glock couldn't get far enough alongside. Marc Genet pits from 13th place. His teammate is up in 5th place. He's hanging on then there, and he's got some chance of points. Though he has got Felipe Massa to worry about. Both of those two drivers have just made pit stops, because Kubica is up to 4th in the other FJR. Raikkonen starts another lap, so he's going very long into the race. And the gap was 21 seconds between Raikkonen and Hamilton. Let's see what it is at the end. Let's see whether it is low fuel or new tyres that has the biggest advantage. And the gap is 19.7, so it's definitely... And Hamilton's going to get blocked by Anthony Davidson, who's just made a pit stop. Into the pits comes Raikkonen. So he managed the end of lap 19. 9.1 second stop, that's very quick, but there was the Schakenberg coming through. So he's not managed... That was a Mitchell actually. There's the Schakenbergs. Still running close together. Has proved quite a difficult circuit to overtake on. And it has shown in the back markers as well, because we saw Heidfeld holding up Glock. Look at this traffic here. And Hamilton right in the thick of it. He's just gone into turn 1 now. Glock has got an AJ between himself and his own teammate, but Hamilton has got a Pedersen. And what looked like Genet in the Dark Wolf is Raikkonen. Glock's just got round Davidson. So that's an AJ, sorry. I think it was clean, looking at the helmet. Breaking into the very bumpy braking zone, actually, and again a bumpy apex. Bourdais pits from 9th place. So to summarise, the early pit stop has worked out well for Hamilton. He has jumped his teammate. And his teammate, meanwhile, being held up by the Pedersen, trying to go around the outside of him into the double right-hander. Very similar right-handers there. Now the Pedersen lets Raikkonen through. Raikkonen braking very late and nearly running into the rear tyre, the right rear of Glock. But this has helped Raikkonen quite a bit because he's closed up to the shake and bake. Very experienced driver is Kimi Raikkonen. He knows how to win races, he's done it before. And there they are, lapping Jerez. Close right together now. This is Raikkonen's best opportunity. He's going to try it into the dry sack curve at the end of the back straight. Gap may say 1/10 of a second, but you can just see it for yourself. He's in the slipstream. He's hitting the limiter almost. It just shows you how good top speed the shake and bake has. Raikkonen couldn't do anything about it. But you can see Raikkonen has the much better car through the corners. So he is going to have to try something a little bit brave, I would have to say. Exactly 1/3 into the race now. Hamilton still leads, having been second for the initial part of the race. Well, third even, before Button's retirement. Moved up to second place behind Glock. Then he took advantage of the new tyres at his first pit stop to take the lead from Glock, just at the pit exit. And now Glock has got Raikkonen all over the back of him. So that summarises the first third of the race. We've had a few retirements. We've had Barrichello retire, we've had Pantano retire. And we've also had an AJ retire as well, of Christian Clear. Now let's see if Raikkonen can do anything about this slipstream. Once again, he can't do anything about it. I think Raikkonen's going to be stuck there for a while. Although having said that, it's right behind him coming out of the final corner. He's having a look up the inside into turn 1. Glock shuts the door on him. That's some aggressive driving from the German. And Hamilton's not exactly pulling away massively. Raikkonen having a look up the inside into the dry sack curve. Braking late! He can't do it. Glock left him the space. This will allow Hamilton to pull away now. If these two keep on battling. But Hamilton is approaching another car. The back marker. Once again trying it up the inside terminal, but Glock defending heavily. Raikkonen running a bit wide. Raikkonen raced for Pedersen a season ago. Teamed up with Sebastian Vettel, who had won the World Championship the previous year with Dark Wolf. And couldn't get the tyres to work. They were billed as a pre-season title favourite as well, were the Pedersen team. But they struggled massively with the soft tyres, and the hard tyres for that matter. They'd failed to qualify for a couple of races. Again, Raikkonen having a look at the inside there, but he can't manage it. Once again, Hamilton not too far ahead. He did take a bit more fuel than his own teammate. Is Lutzer going to do the same thing as Webber? Yes, he is! And off for a spin goes the other Alta Dynamics. Into the pits together comes Hamilton and Raikkonen. So it's going to be a pit stop duel between the Shake and Bake and the Tornado. Sorry, it's Glock, not Hamilton. So that was an incredibly short stint for Raikkonen, having pitted only 11 laps ago. Glock's pit stop. 12.3, rejoining just ahead of Raikkonen, is he? Yes! Now that was close. Oh, they rejoined right in the thick of traffic. So this is going to help Hamilton. Rejoin behind Vettel, so now this is for position. Vettel has moved up to 3rd place, so he can potentially have a small influence in the race. Out turn 5 they go. This queue of cars between Vettel and Glock up the inside. Raikkonen trying the outside, but Glock has got Vettel. Vettel running wide as well. Look at that queue of cars, it's unbelievable. And worse still for those three, they're going to have to pick the way through it. Now here's Glock trying to get the Mitchell. There's a Dark Wolf, there's a Pedersen, there is a GRM, there's an FJR, I believe in there. No, it's another Dark Wolf. Rosberg has moved up to 2nd. And Glock challenging Rosberg then. But into the chicane, overtaking is proving very difficult here. Let's have a look. Dark Wolf, Pedersen, AJ. It's a racing, which will be Davidson. Davidson's nearly gone a lap down on his teammates, and we're only not even halfway through the race. And Glock trying the outside of Rosberg, but Rosberg lapping Davidson. And somewhere in that, the Pedersen has got ahead of Jerez, the other Dark Wolf. And that will be for position. Not sure which position. Now Glock is trying Rosberg again. We know how good the straight line speed of this shake and bake is. Up the inside, having a look, and further ahead, 2 more cars having a look. It's a very bouncy braking zone. Round the outside, that was Davidson. That's the lap down Davidson. Or is that Sebastian Vettel? Pedersen pulling away from Jerez. I think it's Kobayashi. Alonso getting out of the way of Rosberg. And Glock. I'd be amazed if there's no contact at this point. Rosberg hanging on, and I am amazed. There was no contact at all. So starting another lap. This is helping Hamilton a lot, with Glock being held up. And Glock late braking up the inside into 2nd place. Good move from Timo, a very important one as well, because he needs to make this new tyre advantage count. He's got more traffic. But Jerez gets out of the way. Now let's see this first sector point, 35 seconds. Lost a lot of time, 3/10 of a second he's gained, and he had to overtake 2 cars. So down the back straight they go, Rosberg defending from Raikkonen. And this is now cost Raikkonen quite dearly. He's in a Dark Wolf sandwich, he's the meat. Or whatever filling you'd like if you're a vegetarian, probably the egg. But anyway, Raikkonen in 4th place, losing time to Glock, needs to overtake Rosberg now. Is he going to have a look into the chicane? He is having a look. Good move from Raikkonen. Up to 3rd. Now he needs to catch the plucky German Timo Glock. Drove for Guy Racing in 2005 and was a championship contender in the final race against both Pedersens. The Pedersens were very unreliable that season, but Ralf Schumacher managed to hang on and win the championship. And Glock's car on the day, the Guy Racing just wasn't up to the standard in terms of pace of Pedersen, but he had the reliability. And that's lapping Liuzzi in the autodynamics. Kubica pits from 7th. And Glock closing the gap, but Hamilton has got to make another pit stop. No doubt he'll rejoin ahead of Timo. In fact, we're looking at Timo there. But once Hamilton makes his pit stop, he should rejoin, still in the lead. In fact, here comes Hamilton, right at half distance, making his 2nd of 3 pit stops. to his pit garage. His first pit stop was 12.3 seconds first time round. Down the car goes, and it's 10.6 seconds. So he did a 21 lap stint in the second stint, so this stint should see him around 18 laps to go. Maybe a bit earlier. And rejoins ahead of Glock, so that's worked out very nicely for Lewis Hamilton. Raikkonen exactly 35 seconds behind, but of course Hamilton has just made a pit stop. Some more action, and smashing the back of the Mitchell goes Robert Kubica, who's challenging Buemi. Oh, dearie me. What have you done? Right, so that's Kubica out of the race. So even with the reliability, they just can't get to the finish. We're looking at a Dark Wolf hounding the back of Felipe Massa, who is yet to make his second pit stop, I believe. And no way through around the outside there. This may drop Massa down the order, but he will have the fresh tyres. Round the fast sweeps of turn 3 and 4. That's a brave one, Nico, up the inside. Good move. But you've not managed it yet. And you've dropped a bit of speed behind Massa. Now Vettel's coming on the attack. Not quite. And Vettel looks like he's got a good car this weekend. He could jump these two. Massa defending into the second of the fast left sweeps. So he's struggling with the tyres. Surely he'll pit at the end of this lap. And they're approaching to lap Heidfeld in the Dodgem. No, Massa's staying out. What are you doing? As they start their 43rd lap out of 69. I think he lost 4 seconds on that lap alone, did Felipe Massa. They can't seem to find a way past. It's a very difficult circuit to overtake on. Probably more so than Valencia. At the inside again goes Rosberg. Massa hanging on, is he? Yes, he is. Once again, Vettel having a run. At the inside, this time goes Vettel. Massa defending on the inside, making sure that Vettel doesn't dive bomb. Of course, the risk in that is that Vettel would brake too late and shunt into the back of the FJR. But Vettel up to 5th place, and he looks like he can get 4th place of Felipe Massa. Meanwhile, behind this battling trio, Sebastian Bourdais for GRM has moved his way up the order to 7th place. Started 14th, but he's made the best out of this race so far. Once again, Massa continues round for another lap. And it's the Mitchell of Buemi in 8th place, and he started 12th. So it's been a solid drive for him as well. Up the inside, having a look, goes Vettel. Massa only lost 2 seconds that time, so he's halved the lap time loss to Hamilton, who, by the way, is being caught up by Glock. So I wonder if Glock is trying to take advantage of a lighter fuel load. And Vettel up the inside, he's got him this time. Vettel has done something that his German counterpart couldn't. Lovely chase shot there, but now we're on board with Rosberg. And that was simple enough up the inside. And already pulling away massively from Massa, who is struggling on severely worn tyres. Now, can Rosberg actually catch up to Vettel? He's certainly trying hard. Today's pole sitter was Nico Rosberg, the former world champion. World champion in 2006 with FJR. And Vettel coming up to lap Heidfeld. So 3 Germans together, and Heidfeld pits. Massa continues. Now Rosberg's right up the back of Vettel, so Heidfeld held up Vettel quite badly there. Though Rosberg couldn't get the traction out of that final corner. Hamilton, look at that, the gap's down to 11 seconds now between Hamilton and Glock. I wonder if Lewis is back in traffic again, because he'd lost 3 seconds on that one lap. Meanwhile, Raikkonen still within 2 seconds behind, and that's why Glock is in the pits. With 19 laps to go, that's a very early pit stop, but he's hoping new tyres can help him leapfrog Hamilton. If he has a chance, of course. The gap was 11 seconds, so it's a tall order for Timo. 10.7 seconds. Of course, when Hamilton pits, his stop will be shorter. I don't think Raikkonen's pitted, so he will be up to second. Let's just have a look at the positions. Yes, he is up to second. So Raikkonen continuing round for at least one more lap. And next lap is Lewis Hamilton. So with 18 laps to go, running over a mechanic, into his pit stop goes Lewis Hamilton. Glock's stop was 11.7 seconds. How quick is Hamilton's? Only 0.3 shorter. So let's see the gap difference now between Hamilton and Glock as he exits the pits. Raikkonen takes the lead, so he's going longer into the race. He will have the advantage of fresh tyres at the end. Glock crossing the line, 24.5 seconds. Raikkonen in the pits now. So that was 2 laps longer than Hamilton. Into his pit box. Glock, 11.7 seconds. Buemi pits as well from 7th place. Hamilton, 11.4. Raikkonen down he goes. 10.5 seconds. That's a quick stop. Has he done anything about the gap between himself and Glock for 2nd place? We'll find out the answer when he exits the pits. There was a Mitchell. Looks even further behind. There is Glock. Approaching traffic now. And here we have Vettel and Rosberg again. Rosberg has jumped Vettel in the final round of pit stops. And that hasn't pleased the gear racing driver, because he wants that position back. It looks like Hamilton has got the measure of Glock now. The gap is 13.6 seconds. Raikkonen dropped a second to Glock in that pit stop sequence, so running longer did not help. But now that the pit stops are done, Rosberg's soft tyres won't be as quick as Vettel's medium tyres. So Vettel can pressure the Dark Wolf driver. Massa, meanwhile, is 10 seconds behind this battle. I'll keep an eye on the gap there in case Massa does mount on a charge, but without Kurz, that might be tricky. Bourdais and Buemi remain 7th and 8th. Reliability has been pretty decent compared to the previous races. There still appears to be a lot of cars in the race. Hamilton's pulled out 6/10 over Glock, but in fact it's Glock that's dropping back now, and Raikkonen closing in. He's taken half a second out of the German. And 2 more Germans battling away for that 4th position. If reliability becomes a problem in the later stages, then they are battling for a podium, but at the moment they're battling for 4th. Important championship points. Can Vettel get good traction at the final corner? Sort of, but Rosberg at the moment has the measure. The straights are not really long enough for the slipstream to take effect. The only straight that really is decent enough is the back straight out turn 5 into turn 6. At the moment they're in 2, through 3 easily flat out, and then 4 is also flat out. Seems like they're already hitting top speed as they brake for that corner, so the gearing is very short. Into pits comes Liuzzi from 9th place. Vettel's got to run up the inside. Alonso pits from 10th. Rosberg's got better straight line speed, so he's pulling away there from the Guy Racing. Vettel having a look around the outside, but not managing it there. Dark Wolf does have Kurz. Guy Racing appears to have Kurz, but I won't be so sure. Massa is closing in on these two, but not sure it'll be enough for them to close up before the end of the race and mount a challenge on these two. Vettel again having a look up the inside, but Rosberg has the better straight line speed. Vettel braking late! Not quite. Glock and Raikkonen separated by just less than a second, so they will battle to the end. And Rosberg feeling the need to shut the door there. Vettel up the inside now. He's got him. Vettel up to 4th. Brilliant move from the former world champion. Rosberg did try shutting the door, but Vettel having none of it. Now then, Raikkonen. With your fresher tyres, can you close up to Timo Glock? Well, you have done, but can you overtake him? He's then looking up the inside into turn 1. He's got him already. Raikkonen takes 2nd place with 8 laps to go. Now the gap appears too much between himself and Hamilton. It is 13 seconds. Once again, the shake and bake has been supremely reliable. Seems this double right-hander he goes. He's approaching Massa to lap him, but I don't expect him to close up quickly anytime soon. Only 3 more corners to go, that's one of them. There's another. Raikkonen has got the gap down to 13 seconds, but it is not going to be enough. Hamilton rounds out the final corner. And he takes another win of the season. That's his 3rd. An impeccable performance from Lewis. Even when you qualify 4th and 5th, the shake and bakes, both of them, still make it onto the podium. Well, when Glock comes through across the line anyway. Raikkonen will take 2nd place. Raikkonen 2nd, confirm that. And Glock 3rd. Vettel won the battle of the German battle between himself and Rosberg, the pole sitter dropping 4th places in the end. Felipe Massa takes points for 6th, FJR. Bordet 7th, and his Sebastian counterpart Buemi in 8th place. Only 7 retirements come the end of it, but they did include Robert Kubica. In the Drivers' Championship, it's 20 points between Hamilton and Glock. Button in 3rd place. In fact, Glock extending his lead over Button there. It was 2 points, but now it's gone up to 8. Vettel moves up to 4th place with his Super Drive. But up at the top of the Constructors' Championship, Shake and Bake are long gone. They've got double the points of Tornado. So, let's see what the next race offers. We'll see you then.